Q. Yeah, I always keep an archive of all the streams that happen.
Suzy Q stream.
Yeah, I had to make another Suzy Q because the original one got banned because I showed a bunch of porn on my screen. Yeah, so
Fuck. Who's out
yeah,
here reporting that shit?
I know
Bunch
it's
of
just
snitches in the server, dude.
yeah, no, it's just the YouTube content ID is really strong. It's not
Oh, it's
like
really good.
Twitch, you
Yeah.
can say anything, do anything, and
Yeah,
you
no,
can
he
get
even
away
got
with that.
fucking banned from it, like private, like anti-trans rant going. Like
Oh really? Oh, what the
he
fuck?
went, yeah, or like some video of some guy going on an anti-trans rant, like uploaded privately to his YouTube, and like that got his channel taken down.
Oh wow,
So annoying.
that's really annoying.
Something like
Yeah.
that. It was something like that. It was years ago, so.
Okay.
But yeah, yeah. I'll just say
Um.
that Demons was saying the N word, but
Wait, let me share my screen here. There is the here we go. ODT, yeah. We got it in the .odt right now.
let's
Um
get the ODT going.
yeah, I've been doing so much. I've been doing so much thinking about maybe at least three different things.
Let's
Um
go. Okay, love to hear it.
not even like specifically related to this because I just banged this out. Maybe in 2 hours just thinking of everything. I jotted I just put just the mechanical changes themselves that I could have thought of, which was faster
Okay.
spawn rates, BO2 box weapons, specifically state no bolt because I think that's the um point of focus here. No box lag, no realistic box error as far as I know. Possibly longer resets, possibly more errors, despawns. That's some. I don't know how despawns work on BO2. I know on BO1 it's you nade the zombies, or not just nade, but any sort of damage on zombies, and you don't have to worry, you don't have to do that like oh I have to like watch them through walls. But I don't know
Yeah,
how that works on BO2.
yeah. I don't know either.
So that's something somewhat I would have to consult somebody.
A little asterisk there. A little asterisk there. We can
Oh
mention
yeah,
that.
that's true. Yeah, an asterisk by these spawns. True. Claymore limit, increase nade clay damage. That specifically fast rooms, and then clay damage. On maps that have clays. Actually, and Doris would probably have clays just because of the philosophy they went for with the replacement of the nades, and just the other wall weapons are the contemporary BO2 ones. So,
Yeah, we don't know. It's possible to do Betties because they've done Betties in. It's not like there was Betties in BO1. And they
yeah,
still
no,
did
but the
Betties.
BO1 philosophy was just have the world at war wall weapons, all but the
Right.
Springfield on not drug side, QR side.
Right. And they didn't really do that, you're saying, in the BO2.
In BO2 specifically, they replaced all the wall weapons, so it's almost certainly clays, but there are bouncing bays in BO2.
Oh, right, there are. The fucking
Yeah, the circle ones.
Yeah. The landmine things, whatever.
Mm-hmm. And
Universal Mark II, yes.
where is this? Wait. Oh, okay. Increase. Sorry, no instas. That's a big one. 255 round cap. Don't know if that'd be relevant. That's specifically tied to
absolutely relevant. Big relevant.
With where is it? Longer resets. If there are longer resets, then yeah, 255. No wall by reloads. Not super relevant. I'd see that more relevant in fast rooms, but I don't play fast rooms. I could just see that being more relevant. But because there are no insta runs. Huh?
Yeah. Camping on jug side, it is like a lot. You don't even really reload on quick side or jug side solo if you know what you're doing. You're just like buying ammo constantly.
Okay. Yeah, but on the let me add something here too. Not super relevant too, but the wall bite detection on BO2 is really bad.
It's dog shit. I noticed that. Yeah, it's big dog shit. Yeah.
Yeah,
really bad.
I really wonder why that is, because it seems like a very simple thing, and it's. I remember on Claymore, I was standing for maybe 3 seconds in front of it. It was an absurdly long time in my head because I was speedrunning. That's why I go with 3 seconds, but I was just spamming F on the Claymore. It was just not buying. I actually thought I already bought them, and I didn't, so I had to go back down the stairs from Power.
That's so annoying.
To buy them. Oh my word, I couldn't even believe that. But no staggering with high frame rate, a higher fire rate. Sorry.
Yeah.
Don't know how that will affect I don't know if that is relevant in speedruns. Sorry, not speedruns. Fast rooms. You would have to
No.
tell me. I don't know. It doesn't seem like it would be.
I mean, I've done weird tech with that on Jug Solo, but like it's more like as a flex and a meme thing than an actual like viable thing. Like every other strategy for mitigating zombie hits is more effective than that.
Okay. But for high rounds, 100%. Oh, I forgot. I forgot. One actually, no backspeed because there's no DOA on PC. So Universal Mark II, so big. Alternate wall buys, yeah, I already talked about that. Custom games, that's co-op. Strafe
Yeah.
slowdown. Don't know if you know this. This is something that I felt where when I'm strafing, I'm thinking, why can't I do the same bounces? There's a little bit of a slowdown at the end of the strafe that makes it so that you don't have the momentum to move into the next strafe. Like, when like, the way I move is that I strafe and then I bounce to maintain my moment. So I'm not like
Yeah.
walking. I've got the air momentum from the initial strafe and I'm just bouncing. Which is pretty sure it's slightly faster, and then my
Like when you're going up the
sprint is
ramp
regen.
from to respawn into the like trench area, like
Yeah,
you
yeah,
do the
that's a
bouncing and then
big
you
one.
maintain it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's
Um.
because in high runs you're doing like cross map momentum rather than in first rooms you're doing like from like restricted area to restricted area of the first room. Like it's a different
Mm-hmm.
movement
Yeah,
thing.
it's a
Yeah.
different type of movement. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um.
Yeah.
So yeah, BO2. That means well, I've gamed them out just a little bit here. So I'll expand on them later. But no double hit protection from a single zombie. You know how on the instant double swipes you get 2 marks on the
Oh yeah.
screen on BO1.
Exactly.
That's not a thing in BO2.
No,
Um.
it's so annoying.
BL1 entity fails and not present, seemingly. I don't remember nades just disappearing out of my hand or monkeys or bows.
I've
Um,
had nades disappear out of my hands, but
really?
it's not as common. Like in BO1 it happens so frequently. In like BO2 it's like something I actually remember because it doesn't happen so often, you know.
Oh, okay. I've never seen it happen, but I've not played anywhere as much BO2. It's a big one, titles. And then
Yes,
these
that's
are
huge.
all the PC things. No back speed on PC, possible 159 limit on PC. Um, every DLC map seems to have this. I don't think
That's crazy.
no.
I
Yeah,
did not know
that's
that.
really bad. Yeah,
But we know
Diarize
that'll get bypassed. We know that'll get bypassed in any
bypassed.
timeline
Yeah, in any timeline, of,
on
of
nightly.
course. Yeah.
Yeah,
No native offline on PC. Damn,
yeah.
that's a big one. Yeah, that's gonna stop any PC community from growing for a long time. Uh, FPS is much more optimized on BO2 than on BO1. Don't know if you know this, but
Big
I've
time.
got like 700 FPS on town or whatever. It's just
Oh yeah.
immense.
I
It
was
might
fucking
be.
around with that with Bullied. Bullied got his like 4090 Ti or something, or 3090
Mhm.
Ti, and he had like
Had to
he
be
had
over a
like
K.
900 FPS on Die Rise,
Mm-hmm.
and the FPS got to the point where basically there was almost like constant gravity, like he couldn't jump. But if he forced himself to jump by dolphin diving, he'd basically be standing in midair the whole time. It'd just like be floating. And so
What?
it was like, yeah, it was like we were able to do like crazy like dolphin dive across the like Die Rise strafe thing, like like guaranteed first try. Like it was so crazy.
Wow, yeah. I mean, we'd never see that
No.
in this timeline ever. Um, no native. Well, I already did that. FPS, yeah, I did that. And optimal FPS is different too. That lower FPS values are actually better. Very
Yeah.
interesting. Um, and then I thought of potentials. Oh, actually, I'll read you everything that I've written. And
Okay, yeah, please.
okay, so if you're unaware, an August BO2 build was extensively exhibited by Jug V2 on his YouTube channel, featuring a scuffed version of Origins, and more pressingly, all the World at War and all but two of the BO1 maps near faithfully ported over. Um, Now we've seen Shang. I don't know if you
Yeah, I
saw. I
saw it.
posted in way more incomplete.
I
Um,
love the fact that they had the fucking rails. They had so much of it done. No baby guns though, which it was concerning. I was like,
uh,
oh, pretty important.
uh, without getting too immersed with the specifics, most maps appeared to be near completion. 97% completed. If you
Optimized.
catch my drift, yeah,
Yeah, I get your drift. 97% optimized.
yeah.
Nice.
DLC 5 adhered obstinately to BO1 Resurrection to the BO1 Resurrection philosophy, porting previous maps into the new game and making them function with that game's mechanics, whilst replacing the previous box weapons with the contemporary weapons from that game. DLC 5's diversion from the philosophy manifests in the replacement of World at War and BO1 war weapons with their BO2 counterparts, and not much else from my initial glance. Do you remember anything else that changed from the resurrection philosophy of just sort of keeping things faithful? Because I don't remember anything else apart from things that are just broken. And there were maps that had BO1 weapons, but I don't think those were intended. It didn't seem. It just seems like from everything we've seen from past and future, it doesn't seem like they would go with the.
No, not on release. There's
something.
like what we see, and then there's on release, right?
Yeah, and it's interesting to think too because these maps were more complete than Origins, and but they were planned later than Origins from what I read in a post that a fund linked. Apparently the devs were integrated with the custom BO3 community, and so they spilt the beans on some of the things. And apparently just from the because it does say 5. I'm pretty sure that on the world map it does seem like it was going to be those maps were going to be released later. We could possibly have gotten different weapons in the box. I don't think that's totally out the picture, because I don't know if you noticed, but when you go into the maps themselves and when you die, you get the transit death sound screen or whatever. What is it called? The music. The music is the transit one, and I know I this was a cause for concern, because when Tricky said, "Oh, the monkey bomb symbol was in the BO2 one, it's the BO1 one," and it's probably because he's not familiar with BO2, but it's only buried in Origins to have the new monkey bomb symbol, as far as I know.
Okay, gotcha. I did not know that, but I believe you.
And so the like OG transit, which these maps seem like they're based on in terms of like the weapons, apart from the M27, it seems like they're based on the on transit guns in the box, and that could have easily changed now, because you saw the old MP40, and it's like, why would they have the old MP40 when they can just add the new one? Oh, it's probably because these things could have changed. We could have had a different box. What box could have we got? I don't know. And I don't know if it really matters, because the only box that really matters is bow. That's the only other thing that matters in the box. Is there anything else in the box that actually matters for high rounds? But apart from Mark 2, and which is going to be on every map. Yeah, I don't think so. So I don't think
the high round or the first room. No.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. But okay, anyway, these maps weren't incipient.
Like, what we know is they have the same categories of weapons, right? They have the same categories of weapons, and whatever choice they made, we're stuck with a similar category of weapons, and like, right, wonder weapons, assault rifles, sniper rifles, pistols. Like, it would have been roughly this. Yeah. Okay.
And then like nonsense, China legs, whatever. These maps weren't incipient, but are entirely playable in a near complete state, aside from an absurdly scuffed Shang. As you can imagine, the resurrection philosophy would emerge in near one-to-one recreations of the BO1 maps, as BO2 mimics BO1's mechanics near immaculately. This instigates the obvious question: what would zombies look like today with a 2013-2014 release of DLC 5? To provide an answer, it's imperative to reconnoiter the dissimilarities between BO1 and BO2 editions to elucidate the direction zombies might have moved in. Now, I just put this here as a what'd you call it?
Reminder.
Self-reminder here. To what I need to talk about. So thought that was a fairly short introduction. Just did full quick.
That says exactly what we're trying to do and like why we're doing it.
Exactly right. Whilst clarifying what exactly, I'm just giving the. I didn't want to be one of those. I didn't want to be a crops and go like, okay, well, now we need to talk about every specific thing that's different or everything like that. I just
need to go back.
Okay, but yeah, no, I just tried to touch on the broad philosophies on how the
Yeah,
maps were constructed because everyone that is relevant, that
we'll
you know,
understand this. They'll get this pretty quickly. Yeah, this
exactly
doesn't need to
right.
be. We're not
Hmm.
doing this for fucking like other people. We're doing this for our own understanding and our own sense of like, yeah,
Hmm.
peering into a different, universe, basically.
Okay,
And like
hold on.
also to make it clear, like this is cool that this was found, but also like who the fuck made the call not to release this? Like this is crazy. Like this should have been released. Like this should have
Uh,
been made. Like we
so
lost a lot of
from
time.
reading the document that Affirmed sent, it appears that they didn't want it to conflict with the COD Ghost schedule. And
Yeah.
the reason why Zombie Chronicles
Fuck.
came out
Knew
was
it.
because Infinite Warfare was just utterly failing at that point, apparently.
It makes sense.
Um, which makes a lot of sense because COD Ghost, as much as it is remembered as the sort of the start of the end, it was the start of the end, not the.
Right. No, there's a lot of cope going on still.
Oh yeah, COD Ghost is a cool
Extinction.
game.
Oh, different.
Oh,
Oh, this is
Extinction's actually
oh,
good.
Extinction. Oh, yeah. I remember
Extinction's
those near
good.
it. Yeah.
But I started this section. Apparently, I've written more, but I read I've written World at War. The backwater of the high round community comically lacks the same prestige BO1 carries, despite sharing the same maps. BO1's relative newness at the time and superior mechanics attracted many more players, molding a drastically more serious competitive environment
Yeah.
and thus a detailed legacy. World at War is rather oh, this is a new word that I picked up. It's the way I use the generate
Sclerotic. Sclerotic.
sclerotic, yeah, in
I love it.
comparison. Um, in a BO2 DLC5 timeline.
Yeah,
Oh, go on.
it sounds like a dehydrated shit pumped out by an old person. Like when I hear sclerotic, like I imagine like the worst, most like decrepit, falling apart, like useless. Anyway, yeah. Okay.
Wow. Okay, in BO2,
DOC timeline.
yeah, a similar scenario would almost certainly occur, but with BO1 also joining World at War in competitive destitution, at least partially in the earlier years. To illustrate why, consider the environment BO2 came out in. Unlike today, console had an iron grip over the player base in 2013 and slash 2014. This included the highest caliber players whom played the entirely inferior console edition of BO1. I was trying to say something else there. Um, and I don't think I finished this section yet, but it was console BO1 was constricted by sustained frame rate drops over accumulated box hits, which were imperative on trade-based maps. To put this into perspective, near half of the 10 maps had effective trade strats, and now a majority do.
Right.
Yeah, unfinished section there. And now I need to game out. I wanted to do it just to game it out. Not how I'm gonna structure it in the paragraphs. I was thinking, okay, I wanna. I was thinking, okay, I wanna
Each
have
of these changes, and then what do they affect on each of the things?
right exactly, but then
Yeah.
I wanna tag them as short term, medium term, and long term. So the short term is probably gonna be
ST, MT, LT, or something like that.
right.
And like these
But
parentheses, like
what is the what time period do these the short term actually encompass? Would it?
I'd say immediate. I'd say like more immediate changes to the way the map develops or the
Mhm,
way that certain mechanisms develop. Medium term is more like this gets brought in after like there's already been a basis set up. And then
mhm,
long term is like, okay, it had a short term impact because all like you have a medium term after the short term, but the short term doesn't, the short term shows itself earlier, right? But the
mhm.
medium term, it still is feeling the result of a short term impact. It's just also carried on in more complex ways. And the long term is like, this is one of the most important overarching changes that fundamentally shifts the map direction. Like
Okay.
we're seeing something completely shift a map's direction, its perception, its playability, that kind of stuff. I think Noct is a strong example of this. Like the long-term changes to how competitive Noct would be huge because you'd have a Mark II, you wouldn't have to do annoying ass Tommy rounds. There's no box error, right? So like
Mhm,
all of the things that make Noct shit are gone. that's a major short term, medium term, and long term impact. Like, you know,
Mm-hmm. I think for long term or not, it's definitely the Tommy the Tommy
Tommy's
strat
huge.
that's a long term thing. 'Cause that's only gonna become a thing in
Right.
BO1 um
Well, that might
way
not even be a
later
thing.
on.
People might not be pushing BO1 in that way until
Exactly,
later
but
on.
other
Yeah.
yeah, that's why I say it's going to be a long
Yeah.
term thing. It's going to be something that emerges later on. It's like, oh, okay, this is actually something that people realize that, oh wow, because early on in Knocked, for the most of its life cycle,
Push hit the
really,
box.
but yeah, it's just like, yeah, just hit the box, hit the box, hit the box. So that's gonna go on the wait, hold on, box lag. Here we go. So I'm gonna put Knocked. I don't need to put concerns console. I want to expand this out a little bit more though. I was thinking color coding. I can just highlight it. It's a long term LT. It's like a what you call an Xbox controller. Um,
Yeah, yeah, LTRT. So
uh,
bad.
not doesn't have. What am I even writing? I forgot what I'm writing. Oh, doesn't have Tommy. Um, Tommying to 70, and then that. I hate how it shifts back.
And
Probably a
then
way I
medium
can change
term,
it.
it kind of maintains its same like status longer, like the way people would just hit the box constantly. Like that would be like medium term. It's like the same. It's like whereas Noct changed medium term into a different thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't think that's happening medium term for BO2 Noct because why would it? You're not like
Mm-hmm.
saving box hits, right?
Right, exactly. Yeah. I
So
think
like medium term, it's more stable actually. I think
mhm.
than in the BO2 timeline or
The
BO1
short
timeline.
term is obviously the no box lag. The fact
Yeah,
that
no box
there
lag,
isn't.
the
Mhm.
Mark II for forcing drops for playing longer for points, like all that stuff. That's all
Wait, hold
huge.
on.
That's
Wait, I think instead of doing it in each individual category, I should just write. All right, what's the? I should just put like subheaders, and then because that's probably how I'd lay out the video, which is what happens when instead of just doing it all under this. I just need what do you call it? I just need this, and then I'll put everything into each of the subheaders. But hold on, I'm while you think of more ideas, I'm gonna go and take a piss. Okay.
Sounds good.
Okay, I'm back.
Okay.
So I've got these headings, and then in terms of okay,
Like this is a side thing, but Grief would be way more popular. Like I think,
oh, 100%.
um, like that's just like I just want something. I was talking to Orbic last or some night ago. I'm fucking slept weird last night, so not sure
I
how many
gotcha.
days ago, but some night a couple days ago. Yeah, Grief way bigger because the migrate like there's a lot less friction between the different communities. Like if the BO2 is the central place to play, then the high round players will be online in a way that allows itself to be kind of roped into Grief games, and there's
Mm,
less separation. I also think that theater, like people forget stuff like theater and like the replays and stuff. Like I remember being in Xbox parties, viewing clips of other people
Mm-hmm.
playing like first rooms or playing like when you wanted to show like a cool grief clip you got, like you wouldn't use the game capture, you'd like go back in theater mode and like show it to your friends. So like the ability to share first room clips like
Oh, that's
in
it.
theater mode.
So in the short term and especially in the medium term, we're gonna get a lot more because this is. I don't think we had a sort of independent media emancipation early on because capture cards were just harder to come by. I think
Yeah,
I think when I was at school at the time, especially in 2012, we were like, oh, do they just record with really good cameras? Capture cards?
yeah, that's what I
No
thought too.
idea.
I didn't
So
realize about yeah.
so we're gonna see a lot more content early on, and there's gonna be more footage from that era of
Which
people.
again, we know how zombie spreads. Like it's the virus. Like you see other people play, you're like, I want to do that. Like that. At least that's
Mhm,
for me. So, and I think that's most games. So yeah, the fact that there's theater mode, I think makes there more migration between the different communities. Like, and again,
mhm.
this was popular in like Xbox parties, to like watch each other's clips. Like it was a cool thing you could do. Um,
Wait, what
so
maps
yeah,
are
that
affected
mechanic
by
there.
box lag? Nogged.
What?
What maps are
Yeah.
affected by box lag? I don't actually
Well, if Call
know.
of the Dead gets put in place, like that gets affected.
Yeah,
Like I mean, Ascension too, because if you are playing console and you're comparing solo Black Ops 1 Ascension to like think of any like maps where trade
Ascension.
maps were possible early on.
Hmm. Yeah,
Uh
Ascension
People would
was.
compare the BO1 laggy version to the BO2 non-laggy version and play the BO2
Yeah.
version, I
Oh,
think.
100%. Yeah, that's yeah. Not if Call of the Dead Ascension. Other maps other than
I
that
mean,
that
I don't know how laggy Moon was.
did Moon
But
trade back then? I have no idea what
I have
Moon
no idea
did.
actually.
It's a random map that I don't give a fuck about. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't. Apart from North and Ascension. Wait, let's go through the maps. I wrote them down. Kino. No, people didn't trade back then. Five, obviously, no Ascension. Yeah, Call of Dead. Yeah, Shang. But Shang, yeah, it was fairly incomplete, but I don't know if it was scrapped
Yeah,
yet.
big time.
Shang.
No, I think we assume that the maps that they're making like would be developed. Like they
Mm-hmm.
would be
I
something
don't
that
think
got made.
Moon
Like we
had
don't
lag.
know really the intentions behind it, but I think we assumed that they were going to be released.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, Rock, no, not Shino. Reese in the short term, Reese is not. We're not trading for years.
No, we're doing
Yeah,
KJ for sure.
yeah. So we have four maps here that are.
But that's another thing. Like because of the different like amount of RNG on like Doris and stuff, the incentive to ultimately innovate and create a new map, it's more intense because like people like Space Marine would be doing retard strats till they drop, and so
Mhm,
they wouldn't or Figsu or anyone like that. So they'd be doing like KJ strats, and then they just max out the map. And dog variation doesn't like change that much in terms of these long term
mhm,
games, and it's like going to be 100 and something 130 hours, right? So uh the pressure to eventually innovate and find out new ways, like the maps are going to stagnate faster, I think, but then
mhm,
the pressure to then make those better probably going to come from the co-op side, but it's going to come for sure. It's
mm.
not just going to stay stagnant forever.
Co-op did have some strat makers, not only with 5 and 5, but
Pakistan was big, yeah.
yeah, Crawford Sam. Okay,
For
so
real, dude, he was the only guy that made me think co-op could be interesting. Like every time I would try to call him, he'd be on some like new laptop in a new place. Like he just got kicked out of his old place, and so he'd be like telling me about how he's in his new place, and so we can play co-op now. And he'd be telling me about like OnlyFans strat on MOP, like
So I think the conclusion here is specifically with Ascension is that there was a trap internegram here, and
right?
that is a massive force to not happen in this timeline because
Yeah, AJDZ owns, or all these people are not playing the trap strat. Like they are,
yeah.
or if they are, it's shorter, and there really is no reason other than just people being bad, right? Because there isn't a reason why you can't do boxes. Like box hits are easily doable on this
I don't
version.
even know how to spell internegram this. I've never actually tried to spell this word, and the spell check on here is
It's like
not good.
interregnum or something.
Internegram. Oh wow, it's like double R's and nums
Yeah, it's
and
interregnum.
uh, oh interregnum. Oh, I've been saying it wrong. Okay, nice.
No, but that shows that you read it, not that you like. That's not a negative. My sister explained that. My sister has dyslexia, speech therapist, and she said that like a lot of people will say words wrong because they read it, not because they don't know how to speak. But like they'll feel embarrassed.
Right.
But it's like, why would you feel embarrassed from learning?
Oh,
how to
I
write?
don't. Yeah, don't trust me. I don't feel embarrassed at this point. Yeah, no.
No, I know you don't. Like, I know you don't.
Not Ascension, Shang. So no fright. So Ascension, maybe not. Probably. I'm gonna say probably not. Maybe that seems a little bit too ambiguous. Probably. No Trap Strat Interregnum. Is there any other? Are there any other conclusions here that we get? Possibly more played.
Yeah.
Especially more like Ascension and Nocta. And Call of the Dead just change. That is if that map ever comes, it's a cataclysm in terms of
Yes.
how that map is played. But Noct and Ascension. Well, Ascension was really played a lot, but it could be played more. Possibly played more.
Well, you know what we could do? Why don't we look at the like ZWR leaderboards and be like, okay, well, when did certain records happen? Like that would be, if we're gonna go in depth on this. Like I think for right now we'll game it out, but like in depth, we probably should look at exactly when certain things happened and get a sense.
That's where I want to get Frenzy. That I want to get in contact with him because he has like a very encyclopedic understanding of when things happened. He's coming to me on VC. He's like, he does a Crops impression, and then he's like, "Fuck, those weird videos were so whack." That's what he's telling me. In terms of the just accuracy, there's a lot of inaccuracies there. So
also my time being wasted. I can feel my soul leave my body.
Okay, wait. So Noct, Army is knifing on BO2. Equals BO2 version. More played. I'm thinking this is almost certainly the case. That the BO1 Noct version,
it's in the trash for sure.
Yeah, it's considered nonsense. Yeah, no one actually wants to. This is also another.
At least the World at War one would have a different like amount of zombies. It's you're using the fire, like the flamethrower. Like there is like a difference. Not where it's like, okay, that's different, but like the similarities between BO1 and BO2 would be so significant. Then why would you ever play the worst version of the map?
Okay, so that's long term. In terms of the medium term, maybe this actually sounds more like a medium term thing, which is essentially probably no strategy because bugs lag. I'm thinking that's a medium term thing. Yeah, and because I don't know when the trap strat came to fruition, at least at high level. Did the 203 game of Mato Master? I don't remember him getting frame lag. I don't know if you've ever seen that. Hold on. Mato Master 203.
Yeah, I've seen. No, I was watching that on my like iPod or whatever.
203 resetting
you like insta monkey rounds of being like, what?
Oh yeah, that freaked me out when I seen that. Oh no, he was playing traps, and this is end of 2013. So
a lot less of that nonsense.
So maybe not as little as I think, but I definitely think that might not be. When did Frenzy play his 186 game? Frenzy, Ascension, 186. Is that 186? I have no idea. Oh, 190. Is this Shino Numa? He played this in 2014. Okay, so yeah, no, definitely. Yeah,
well, how is Shino Numa getting changed? Like, probably not very much. I think people are gonna stick to the same strats for a long time, right?
That is a game that you guys are watching. To me, this is a big question mark here with Shino Numa, because Shino Numa, I don't know how the spawns work because they drastically changed from the different versions of the game, and it seems like the way they were configured in the video weren't even configured properly, which might mean so how they ported the maps. the spawns, none of the spawns seemed weird to me. Now we would have to go and test it out ourselves
Yeah, yeah.
for sure. And I'm hoping we do get the case. I know that there's this one guy, Galaxy. He uploaded more expansive
Footage of it.
yeah, footage of the actual maps, and all the maps didn't seem off. Now I don't play the other maps as much, but Shino Numa, the zombies were spawning behind the doors. But
Yeah, I remember you told me about that.
the other maps, when they were ported over, they seemed fine. So either Shino Numa had less luck, which could be the case because
Possible.
the box wasn't correctly configured. But I don't think all the boxes were. I think most of them were actually, but the spawns were fine on all the maps. Every single map had fine spawns that I've seen so far, but
Okay.
and you would expect Varrock to have fucked spawns
Oh, I
because of
would.
just
I
that,
would. Yes.
and it didn't. I didn't see any fuck spawns. So Shino Numa seems like has a problem on BO1 or on World at War where the spawns could just differentiate, but different. There could be a difference between all the versions. So that's a really big question mark, and I really want to.
Yeah.
That seems like a very interesting future. Obviously, we don't even know what the spawns could look like. But let me. So this is actually more of the short term. I think I should put that back in the short term because it just happened. So because Frenzy played a 2014 game. Is there anything? So let's just go through the list here. No, we could just go one by one, fast spawn rate, and then just game out all the consequences of
Yeah, right. Okay.
of
Well, I
that.
mean, definitely trap maps like Kino or like No Novas might be better, right? Like that's my first thought is No Novas are probably better because the spawn rate's faster.
Mm-hmm.
I'd I'd assume 5 is better too, like faster spawns. Like that might be way crazier. That might be like considered one of the harder maps, really. 5.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So crazy. Might take a long time to innovate on that. Same with Corrupt.
So
Fast Strat's gonna be like unplayable for a long time. It only recently became playable, and that's with slower spawns, you know. So
yeah. Faster strats, sorry, faster spawns. So that's gonna create more faster times on BO2. I'm thinking culturally, how does that affect BO1? But that's not gonna be in short term. I feel like that's gonna be a little bit more. Ooh, that
and
could
that's like
be
harder
short.
to pin down.
That's harder to pin down, but I definitely don't think that's gonna be a short term thing. Just because I don't think people are so crazy obsessed with times back in 2012. Sorry, 2013, 2014.
It was more
That's
about
gonna,
downs back then.
yeah, right. So 2015, 2016, right, is gonna be. Let's just say that that's in the medium term. I'm thinking
Yeah,
that's gonna be something that emerges at that point where but let's not game it out yet. Let's just talk about short term. Faster spawns on BL2. Strats just get harder.
some of them might be easier, but also I'm assuming that means that if there's faster spawns, again, it's like once it hits the barrier though of reset is when stuff gets innovated. But like probably trap strats stay along for a while more. I'd assume at first for
Right.
solo, especially because strats are faster and like there's such a long reset window to play with, so it's less of a pressure.
Harder strats.
And like if there's harder strats, like why would you deal with the harder strats when you can play easier, pretty close to as fast strats? Like the issue of it being harder becomes more significant, I think, for people early on. It's like a lot of this early stuff is like I want to avoid doing the difficult stuff. I just want to get the record now, kind of thing.
So I'm yeah, difficult strats emerge later. I'm thinking yeah, that's probably gonna be the case. And is there anything else for faster spawns apart from just the strats on each map just possibly changing completely because of the faster spawns? Because I think the culture thing is definitely all the cultural things that happen are gonna come later when there are actually gonna be big splits between the
Definitely.
communities. I'm thinking, yeah, medium ton, faster spawns, create BL1 scene as the easier, lower game. This is a culture thing. I'm gonna put culture here. That's fine. BL1 scene as easier, slower game. Creates a stigma against players playing BL1, and that will come once we start talking about the PC and the game differences. That's gonna really become a thing. So I think that's number one for medium term. I think
Yes, pretty fair.
what else for medium term happens with faster spawns?
Let's see.
Definitely the strats, where we're now gonna see harder strats, and the game might be less optimized in terms of a world record perspective. In terms of what strats world records are using, because
Yeah,
the game.
because why would you use harder strats when the reset time is so massive and
Mm-hmm,
already it's pretty fast? Like,
mm-hmm. So world records don't use. Well, actually, I should just put that's optimized world records because hard strats. Um.
yeah, yeah. Okay, yo, I'll be back in like 2 minutes. 1 second.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yo, I'm back.
Hi.
Okay. What what progress has been made?
Quite a bit. I'll read it out to you. So
Thank you.
from the
Profusely.
top, BO2 main way to play BO1. Maps because of bug lag. BO2 is much more competitive than BO1. Early on, especially, because it's new plus better features. More conservative culture because BO2 is better on console and all the best players who dictate the culture. Probably not going to be in the short term, but more on the medium term.
Right.
Oh, that is the medium term. Okay. Whoops. Um, yeah, so BO2 is the main way to play now, in the medium term because of bug lag. Much more competitive. Need to remove that. It's a new thing. I thought it was still the short term because it's going to be new in the short term, not medium term. Better
Right.
features. I'm saying the sustained player growth from it being popular at the beginning might still be there, though. More conservative culture because BO2 is better on console, and all the best players who dictate the culture are also on BO2.
And also on console.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah, BO2 console. That's sort of implied, but yeah, I should say
No,
that.
yeah, you're right, you're right.
Possibly no FOV cements itself as the standard because no one competes on PC. Big point for community to standardize its identity. And this is where the identity of the game sort of starts to take shape. Main way to play is BO2. Weaker BO1 records have developed as a result. PC doesn't develop a strong community until later. Console standard, 65 FOV0 patches cement themselves. BO1 community has much less talent on maps BO2 is better on.
Yep.
BO2 is seen as a more attractive game to play because of the competition being on BO2 for many maps, further damaging many BO1 maps. Poor PC port. This is the part I was gonna write, but I think I already did the faster spawns with you. No insta round. I said BO2 seen as more legit slash unofficial because of no instas. Which is something that we already saw in our timeline, but BO2 just didn't have that cultural power to really
Exactly.
meme on BO1, but that certainly was a thing where like the Niska was talking about, I'm pretty sure. BO1 gains the stigma for being broken and having easy rounds. Every round BO2 player said it in this timeline, if I remember correctly. Did I put anything
That's definitely the case.
for this? Oh, this is like combining with my old thing. I need to move this down a little bit. If you have any ideas, type something because I'm gonna
No.
go to the toilet, BOB.
Yeah, gotcha.
I am back.
Welcome back.
Yep. Oh, yeah, my voice is getting a little bit, not voice, but my throat's getting a little bit dry.
Oh, valid.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the cold weather, that happens to me more.
And it's actually been really warm today, really surprisingly. I got really wet today, though.
Oh, gotcha, yeah.
Which was good because usually when it rains and it's cold, it's no recipe for goodness. And I got pretty hardcore. I don't stop when I'm on my bike. I just go all the way. I just do my full route, regardless if it rains. And I have that perseverance. So
Or
uh,
traffic.
I
They're on your
ride
road.
in.
They're on your road.
Oh yeah, they are on my road. Yeah, no, I
You
cycle on
better get the fuck out of the way.
I cycle in the countryside. So and my city has a park that connects to most neighborhoods or adjacent neighborhoods.
Okay.
So if you want to get around the city, you can just go through the park. Without
Actually, really
ever, yeah, without ever needing to go on a main road at all. So it's very, it's a very nice city. Quite tribalistic about my city.
sick.
But I am, yeah. BL1 PC versus what the fuck is this? BL1 PC World War versus BL2. Oh yeah, this is a long term. Um, BL1 PC BL1 develops. Right. PC players can only play BL1 because of console and sub.
Supremacy.
No, because
In
of
this era, it's console supremacy. It's not even conservatism when it's the right way.
yeah.
No, I'm just
Yeah. PC players can only play BL1. And that results in BL2 invades BL1 records when PC in general gaming gets more common. BL2 invades BL1. Should say records BL1. Well, I should say record attempts or something. When PC in general gaming gets more common. BL2 best foot, BL2 on console best players start also having PCs. And it's sort of the thing where it's like when they're on console, BL1 is harder for them to contest on some maps, and then when they
right.
move to PC, it's or you know if they get a PC alongside their Xbox, they're also only gonna have BL1 to play on the PC, and so they
Right.
have a lot of time to actually what do you call it? Yeah, to start going for the BO1 records. So BO2
Yeah.
invades BO1 record attempts when PC and general gaming gets more common. So BO2 console best players.
And like the
Best
fact that they're less able on BO2, like on BO1 on console. Again, that, I think that's going to feed into like compensatory narratives about how like this is because it's a stupid Mickey Mouse game. It's only able to
Mm-hmm.
do on PC because the game was made like shit. Like it's at first going to be a reflection of just how bad the game is that it's not
Mm-hmm.
competitive on console, right? Like that's going to be. But I think that
Right.
narrative gets shifted as people start seeing how similar it is, how much skill it
Mm-hmm.
takes, that kind of thing.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I need to write that down in a concise way. I think that would start in the medium term.
Definitely.
Narratives about BO1 being easy
I like the
emerged.
way the term Mickey Mouse game. I love that. It's just exactly how it would be framed. It's a
Yeah.
fucking children's game, bro. There's like fucking glitches in the game that allow you to get round 1 health. Like, what the fuck is that?
Well, actually, I've already started writing about the narratives. Hold on. Stigma for being broken. BO1 players are considered nonsense. Um, because of BO2's similarities, but weaker records.
Competition, all that stuff.
Create a false sense of superiority. Um, Yeah, there we go. But weaker records on BO1. Got a full sense of superiority for BO2s. There we go. Consider nonsense because BO2 similarities, but weaker records on BO1 create a. Wait, hold on. Yeah, okay. Did I miss anything? Or is that? Oh, what
Again,
other
there's a lot of
narratives?
areas where it's like we could see. I don't know if this should be a separate category or should we just incorporate this into all of our thoughts. But like, there's ways in which this will develop that we just can't comprehend. Like, it's a
Mm-hmm.
different history. We can't view it from our perspective. Like, but it's still like, given what we know about how this community tends to work, like we can still, I
Mm-hmm.
think, make some assumptions.
Yeah, I think we can make some pretty big
Yeah.
assumptions, um, because we already had a lot of that happen in our
Exactly.
timeline. It's just that they didn't have the cultural power to go, oh yeah. um,
Should we talk about the direction of the game, like in the Easter egg stuff, like the comparison? Like, I think that's a
I'll
like
I'll
not a
touch
guarantee. Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
definitely touch on that later.
I think that's more speculative, just to say. I think it's tough
100%.
to say, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
also pretty confident that having that reflective, like the ability to see the different styles of maps in the futures kind of presented would provide a more kind of clear choice for the community and also a clear choice for the people involved in the game making over what's more popular, what's more preferred, like gameplay focused maps or story focused, abstract YouTube focused maps.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty confident about that, but it's still speculative and like super open. I think people could have different perspectives on that, which is good. There should be a conversation about this. I think
Mm-hmm. Wait, hold
like the
on.
more speculative just means more potential conversation, right? So
Right, yeah. No, you can keep talking. It was more of I just wanted to put something on in the background.
no, it's fine.
Okay, there we go. Nice. Um, so yeah, um, I wanted to put something, but now I forgot. It was something to do with what's it to do with? Um, I don't think I need to go up that. It's something to do with culture. I'm writing a lot about culture now.
Yeah, yeah,
No FOV, all that. B1 players are considered nonsense because BO2 similarities, but weaker
well, yeah.
records
Because
on
BO2
BO1.
becomes the standard, right? Like
Yeah,
that's the key
but
part about the culture is that
yeah.
BO1 is the like central base at which everything is viewed. So
Mm-hmm.
just how with BO1 was the central base with how everything BO2 is viewed,
Mm-hmm.
it would just be the reverse. It would be like not
Yeah.
the exact inverse, but just the dynamics would start out as the inverse.
Mm-hmm. I need to.
It's like we need to get fucking PC up to console standards. We need to have like what's legit in BO1. Well, let's go on what's legit in BO2. Like
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
the glitchiness of BO1. Well, that shows that developers didn't know what they were doing. So BO2 is like the better metric, right? Like that. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's just
Yeah.
every time and it's not like it's more true. Even like it's just that the reality as it looks does make it seem more true. Like it's everyone would be coming from the common knowledge perspective of that being true, right? So.
Uh, uh, I need to clarify this because PC merges later and later, and BO2 has the talent. PC players are weaker. BO2 invades BO1 record attempts when PC.
Like PC doesn't have its own independent identity. I think for the most part, I
Mm-hmm.
think it's
Yeah.
mostly right. Like I think that's the key thing we're looking at. Like there's people like
Actually,
Kade, Joker. Like I'm thinking if there were players that were on in ZW, right? That were like those were PC native people. There was no.
I think
console.
I think there will be a
They still exist, but-
PC. I think there will be a PC. I do think a lot of people just congregate to console just because it's just better. It's where the culture is, so people go to the culture. But I do think there will be there will absolutely be actually a more distinct PC community, in the sense
Yeah,
that
right. That's what you're saying.
we have that with World at War and BO2, where BO2 there were just people because it was just better on console for a long time. there wasn't really a PC BO2 community for a while that were competing for records. No one was competing for records on PC BO2, and I see that with the same thing sort of happening where you have a similar thing happen. Oh God, I forgot what I was gonna say. It was something to do with on BO1 you would see
Right.
a very specific the same thing where there was sort of BO2 players that played
Right.
but
Non-native for like transplants versus like native.
right, yeah, these guys are not native. Maybe they,
Transplant.
yeah,
Right. They're from a different culture. They come and they transplant themselves in. They assimilate. They try to kind of
no,
be
I'm
a
talking
part of the
about
culture.
I'm talking about no, I'm talking about people that actually start on BO1, as in they
Okay.
start playing PC on BO1, and so they're playing BO1, but there isn't and people and there are going to be hipsters in the community, like the World at War players that are like, oh hey, World at War is World at War. There are going to be people that are, I'm playing PC on BO1. Actually, I think
Yeah.
this is better because like
Exactly.
the movement is just so much better. True, I completely agree with
Look
that.
at the remix community.
Yeah, exactly right. There are going to be hipsters, right? And I think these hipsters are going to be clowned on the
Right.
BO1 hipster community, and so I think that's
Well, also think
a
about like in terms of community dynamics and culture, like think about the main communication platforms. Like I have very vivid memories of being in Xbox live parties where there's 8 people max. 8 people is a max. And if you wanted to get someone else in the game or in the party, the immediate question was, okay, well, who's lowest on the totem pole that we can kick? And when I was
mhm.
younger and people didn't know I was a good player at all, which maybe I'm not still, but whatever. But like that like was like I would always hear the joke like, what does a soccer ball get? And then I'm kicked, right? Like,
Yeah.
no, like the communication platforms being on Xbox parties, like being limited that way. That like, on PC, I was on TeamSpeak, I was on Skype. Like there was more of a, there's already kind of a sense we should get out of Xbox party chats. Like those just kind of suck. Um,
Mhm.
but those might be more powerful longer. People might be more like in insular cliques, right? There might not be this expansive community. It might just be more kind of segmented. I don't
Mhm.
know. Like friend groups might be more centralized. Unless we mean the community is just like who streams on Twitch, which I'm fine with that definition too.
Mhm.
And that probably would develop pretty similarly. But in terms of the actual relationship between players, I mean, the fact that party chats were a thing, the fact they were so dominant definitely plays a role.
Oh, here we go. I forgot to write about theater mode.
All right, boom. Yeah, that was a big
Um.
culture building thing. Like, and also seeing like what your friends did thing. Um, you could see what recent clips they did because they also have like featured clips, so you could see like what are people's like saved clips that they recently made. So you could kind of stalk them a little bit and see like, oh, who are they playing with, like who, like what were cool clips they got. And yeah, it would inspire you to play more. If the first room community had more like presence in theater mode, I think it would be more popular as a game mode. People would see it like
Mhm.
in their early development years of like what's cool. A lot harder on
Yeah.
BO1. Like I was watching Dabrowski spectate Pumpkin like in a lot of the Verruck first room games. Like a lot of the Verruck first room games, I was like having to rely on Dabrowski bleeding out and having gameplay of Pumpkin because he spectated him. Like it was
Oh
bad.
right.
So the difference between that and theater mode is pretty significant. And the limitations of theater mode, like it stops after a certain number of hours, not a thing for first rooms in the early days. Like not a thing.
Mhm.
Not at all.
I think in the long term we're gonna have something here. Uh, Something that I don't know if you thought about. Grief rules standardize around console.
Definitely.
Because there isn't that big internegram of well, I think there was an interregnum. I would assume there's a massive interregnum. Um, oh wow, the fuck you said? Between the actual grief days and then what people are doing on plutonium.
Yeah, definitely. In terms of there were tournaments, they would have like because again there was not that coordination but they did have tournaments. They did have like yeah, they had tournaments, but it was a lot of more just like custom game fucking around stuff like dodgeball. You pick teams one person's captain they pick among the players.
Yeah, yeah, I
It was
know.
very informal, but there was a sense of like what the best modes were, and it was town, 20 magic, 15 magic, no magic on farm. Like those were the two.
Yeah, and that's completely different.
Yeah, it's much more like there's no real end in the Pluto modes. It's kind of endless mode. It's like you just join and fuck around. Yeah, much more professionalized. People carried themselves a lot more seriously. Like there was, informal rankings of who was good, like different tiers of players and stuff. There were clans that were also like both real but also made fun of.
Mm-hmm.
CGS.
Yeah, because but Pluto, it was we play with Jug. That's the way to play the game. It's just I think it's much better to play with Jug. I enjoy
Yeah,
it
it's
way
much more
more.
skill-based.
Can't
But
believe you, man.
it's
Playing
more
with
like
Jug, man.
back in the day, people would be kind of complete pussies about how they would play, and so having no magic meant that you couldn't just avoid like combat. You had to actually be participating in it, because if you just tried running away, people would knife you in the horde. Like that doesn't work. When you have Jug, you can actually make it out of a lot of situations.
Yeah,
That
it's
was
more of a tanky game, so it lasts
Yeah.
longer, which I liked.
With lower skill level players, though, it's like worse, if that makes sense,
mhm.
because they abuse the tankiness to not play the mode the way we wanted it to be played, which is like combat.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I remember people just running around the map, and that's just
And then
what are
door
you
blocking.
doing? Yeah. Oh my word. Yeah. Should be. I like how you say how the game's actually meant to be played.
Yeah, how we created it to be played.
Yeah, which is the real way. I mean, yeah, no, no, no,
The
no,
ultimate
no.
way. The only way. The only real way. No.
What you said, no, what you said was true. The fact that the developers, I don't like this. I see this with a lot of people. I like to, when I play a lot of my games, I just mod the shit out of them, to play the way I want to be play, the way I want to play. So let's, if it's a game that has a flourishing modding community, I will look to see, because I research about my games. I don't want to just spend the time playing a game. And so I will possibly have seen people play the game before, and it's like, oh, okay, if this mod is good to play with, I'll just rather play with the mod, with, certain mods, as opposed to just playing the game vanilla. And it's the case that, no, I do actually think the players that play the game are the artists. No.
Exactly.
And
I trust myself enough and the people around me enough to like know how to make a game fun.
Right.
If I didn't, why am I playing with them?
Yeah, there's, games that could be very competitively rich, but they just didn't have the right minds and, at the time when the game was, big enough to have a competitive player base. No, no one, or maybe it never even had a competitive player base, and so you never know what the game could have become with certain players playing the game, and that has to be credited to the players. Absolutely, 100%.
That's great for sure. That's great.
You don't get trade strat, developers. No. We get trade strat. We made it. You have no idea that could be possible. Fuck you. No, especially with how they made the other maps.
Yeah, and there's a weird thing, like a meta thing. I've seen videos of like when the developers know you're speedrunning, and it was like some game where the guy's an alien pistol, and the pistol's like talking shit, and it's being like, oh, you just skipped that area. I see that you're speedrunning. And I'm like, this, I don't like a lot of people are like, oh, that's so cool. The developers recognize the speed. It's like, that makes me think the developers made such a restricted game that they can predict the things that you'll do to bypass their thing. Like that kind of sucks. Like I kind of want them to be like unable to stop the things that you find and like learning about, like they shouldn't know your speedrunning strats, right? Like that shouldn't be how speedrunning works. I don't know. I think it's kind of lame. I do like watching developers react to games though, and like see how people.
I disagree with that. I actually disagree with that because I think it's very easy to tell if somebody's speedrunning, because if you've moved, so there's this thing called rollback in fighting games where people during the COVID eras demanded this way of doing netcode to be done, and it was a predictive netcode, and the simplest versions that people did back in the day when like early GGPO, which was a way that people played arcade games on PC, and the predictiveness was very simple, but it's a 9-day difference. You don't ever want to play without rollback netcode because the older versions of how netcode used to be done were really bad. And what it predicted, right, was that okay, you're probably going to do this move next.
Okay.
Because you did it last. It's really, really simple. It's a really simple way, and it's just so brilliant because once you actually start being cognizant of what you're doing in a match, you start to realize, oh, what we're doing isn't so unpredictable that somebody couldn't make a netcode based on what what potentially happened, and so what if a breaking connection happens, the other person is seeing what their computer thought you were going to do, and so usually it looks fairly good because it predicts right most of the time.
Right,
so
okay, sure.
I do think that you probably could very easily predict if somebody is speed running because oh wow, they just skipped like 5 different areas. I don't even know if you can do
what I'm
that.
saying is it defeats the central idea of, well, the artist is the gamer. Like that's what I'm not saying that it's not speedrunning and that it's not able to be predicted. I'm saying the thing that I like is that the artistic output is unpredictable. Like I like that that's unpredictable. I don't like.
I think it's predictable.
I'm fine if fighting games can predict the past moves based on the current moves. But if you're able to predict the glitches a platformer is using and like understand that because they made it through a certain area and a certain speed that they must be speedrunning, like that's just a lame acknowledgement of something really basic. Or it's a really like annoying reflection that they've made such a restricted game they can predict exactly when you're speedrunning. You know, so like either way.
I don't see it like that. I think even in a very complex game, I think it would be fairly simple to predict how someone is doing something because I just don't think I think it's something that in terms of the way Darice or the way that Darice developed, right? If you now let's say that the newer games still use BL1 mechanics, I think they can with past input, they could really understand how high round strats are going to develop. I don't think it's going to be this like, oh wow, this strat is like so unknown. I can't even believe this is possible in the game. I think they would have learned from the way past iterations of the mechanics, developed. They could probably very easily predict it. But the thing is, we don't think about the way strats are going to develop because usually we're playing old games where developers never intended this, right. And so we think it's very spontaneous. But I think a lot of things are actually fairly predictable if you put full into it.
Predictable, but I'm saying that that's a sign, a pretty big sign, that the speedrun strats you've come up with are the tip of the iceberg of what's possible, or it's a shitty game. Like I'm saying that like you should be coming up with strats the developer couldn't have predicted based on like collision issues in the engine that they weren't aware of. You know what I mean? Like the limits of what speedrun should be, it should pretty like much destroy the way the developer intended the game to play. So if the developer can add little check marks of like, oh, I see you're speedrunning, it's like, well, okay, maybe you start getting a little more innovative with your strats. Like don't just settle.
You could still predict it though, because you can just put really broad checks in the game, no? In terms of
that's not as bad of a sign. This was more like the guy went from one area to another instead of going like ABC, he did like AC, and the developer's like, looks like you're speedrunning, and it's like, okay, well, so maybe let's learn how to like fuck, like I don't know, I'm very anti-authority in that sense, where I don't like them to, or any developer to have a sense of like control over the game once they sell it to me. I shouldn't see their presence other than like me trying to fight them in terms of what I can make. Like I'm not on their side. Like I'm trying to break their game.
Right. Okay.
So like this little collaborative winky wink thing, I think it's gay. I think it's dumb. In a bad way.
Okay. I was thinking more like, oh, you glitch through the map and then oh wow, you seem to have started speedrunning. Yes. I think that is very obvious. A very obvious check, right? Like it wouldn't even require that much thought. As to how the strat develops, because it's such a broad check that exists.
Yeah, definitely.
I think
people were loving it. They're like, "Oh, that's so cool." The developers get it,
right?
And it's like, I don't know how cool it is. Like, I think you know.
I think it's cool. Yeah, they do get it. I think you're just a hater.
I think I am. I think I'm cynical. I think that I see that then as them anticipating a lot of the speedrun stuff and probably removing a lot of the really cool ideas that could be possible for, like, on Super Mario Odyssey, you play on a different version of the game, like the initial launch.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the things that you use in speedrunning got taken out. Like a lot of the cap skips.
But that's Nintendo, and they're very naughty when it comes to
I hate that. Fuck that.
Oh yeah, no.
Like, I'm not on Nintendo Steam. Like,
neither am I on Nintendo Steam.
Mario in a cat costume being like, looks like you're trying to speedrun. I'm not looking at that like, oh yay, like Nintendo sees me. I'm like, fuck these guys.
But you know who Nintendo are. They are the people that are super anti, they hoard their IPs and then they're super anti preserving your video games on emulators. They want to completely kill that market. Say market, lol. But the systems, whatever you want to call them, and so they are super authoritarian.
And evidence that they're trying to kill speedrunning while also making it look like, oh, it's this.
Well, what game was it?
I'll find it.
Depending on what game, probably gonna hard disagree. And I think that you know what, if the developers start to kill speedrunning, or like try to kill speedrunning, that sounds like a lot of fun.
Like as a okay, well fuck them. We'll try to like.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, if you're a speedrunner, you want to completely. That's like, oh wow, okay. I'm gonna fucking kill you. This game looks bum. What the fuck? I shouldn't have said that, but it really does look bum. It's just
what they say. Oh, are you speedrunning? That's so cool. We hope you get the record. Like, that's awesome. I'm like, I see this and I'm like, fuck you guys. Like, how? I'm immediately not liking this instantly. But I'm a weird person. I'm a very pessimistic, very what the fuck does that mean about the type of things they develop this game? Like how they develop this game. If they're adding this stuff in, like they're very cognizant of people trying to speedrun. They're like, oh, you can speedrun. Take the speedrunning path. You know, all you have to do is just go onto the speedrunning path. You know, I hate that immediately.
Right.
I'm trying to off road. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to take the specially they got the regular way to play and they got the speedrunning lane. Like, I'm not trying to take either lane. I'm trying to get off road and go faster. Like, fuck that. And it's kind of like, again, like I agree with the artistic element. Like, it's like they don't have artistic license to dominate the direction of the game, like the players do. You know.
Well, they did. It's that game. In terms of they're the one who made it, so they have to find.
I know. I like, practically speaking, yes.
Right.
But I'm saying philosophically, for me, part of why the game should be broken is because fuck these guys. Like, they made a game. I'm gonna get good at the game, and I'm gonna get so good at the game that I'm gonna make it a new game. How it's played is now different because of like the impact of me and my friends. Like, that's awesome. That's how. Like, that's a speedrunning tutorial. The idea of like a little speedrunning lane that the developer is giving you, no.
Well, they're not giving you it. They're not giving it to you, but you're seeing it like that.
I'm seeing it like that.
Yeah, I don't see it like that at all. It's like, oh, the game's trying to, they're trying to see. I think this has always existed, but in a different sort of way, where in terms of just general exploits, where people use exploits to they will try and remove these as much as possible. I can totally see that in terms of that's
what I expect from them. I expect them to be these referees that try to like, oh no, I'm not supposed to do that, and then the game is to then fucking beat them. I'm not on their team. Like, I don't care if they hope I get the record. Like, it seems like a marketing gimmick from a like irony poisoned game that's trying to be self-aware of the developer, and I don't care. I'm not. That's not cool to me. And like, again, I'm fine with them being annoying refs. I respect that because they're trying to keep the integrity of the game as it is for them. But I'm also trying to fight that as a speedrunner. I'm not trying to
fight it. Then
be like, okay, like, you're setting the rules. Like, my whole game is, okay, how'd you set the rules? I'm gonna break it, and I'm gonna get the same thing just in a different way. You know.
True, yeah.
So it just seems like, why am I don't know. People seem to really like the video. They like the idea of the developer having little meta quips on, and maybe that's part of the game. I don't know this game, so maybe that's just part of
Yeah,
the game
never do
generally,
I.
where it's really ironic and self-aware. But I think that's lame.
That's cool. I like it. I like how the self-aware, and I do like the fact. Well, actually, I don't. Actually, I don't even speedrun. I don't give a fuck about speedrunning.
Sure.
So I care about speedrunning zombies, but I do I like playing in I like creating my own art in the boundaries of the game rather than, just like glitching through the map. That's like a
Oh, right,
danky.
of course.
Dank loves the like, oh yeah, I just want to, I remember Roy was also like this at one point where it was like he found this like Call of the Dead thing where you can like stand up on shit. And people were flaming him because it's like, oh no, this is stupid. This is
Yeah.
we shouldn't allow this. I do like the boundaries of the game. How zombies is set for the most part. I don't like some of the things, and I just want to pick and choose what's the best for me. That's what I want to. Yeah, I will use this.
That's a different. I'm not talking about zombies in this. I'm talking
Right,
about more
yeah.
like a general philosophy of like the relationship between the game maker and the community.
Mhm.
I
I
think the people that are most willing to violate the boundaries of the game maker, I think those people make the game more interesting, almost always.
Oh, 100%. Those are the people that you go to.
And usually the game maker aren't super happy with what they do. Like they
Mhm.
want to take the new innovations and make it their own, like in Skyrim and stuff. So I just don't
Ooh,
see
what
the
happened in
game maker and
Skyrim?
the community as being collaborator. Oh, like with the mod packs and stuff. Like I showed this a while ago, but they basically made it so that the mod packs the community developed are like able to be purchased from the store for like
Oh yeah, I've seen that. Yeah,
30,
on
40 bucks
console.
instead of it being free. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So like that
that's
kind
a
of like
lot
I
of
just don't
nonsense.
see the game developers as typically collaborative with
Well,
the
those are not
community.
the game
And
developers
another
though.
really strong example, what the
I,
like managers, life cycle managers, I don't know.
oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, I don't think the
Whatever,
developers
like
are.
whatever the team is, right? Like, but it's like, yeah, they don't control the game. Like, the like zombie thing, like, they made like, invincibility glitches just standard in the modern era of zombies. Like,
Oh yeah,
you
that's
can go in the
fucking
water and they can't kill
bullshit.
you.
What the
Like
fuck?
we have standards that are being exceeded and violated by the game developers. So I've just never seen a situation where the game developers and the audience are like really that collaborative and really have like a pro social relationship. It's almost always like the game developer wants to like maintain as much control over the game as possible at the expense of the community, and often that involves like exploiting them through monetary transactions. So when I see these cute little meta irony things, it just flies in the face of most things I've seen from game developers, and I'm like, I find this suspicious. I don't like this.
Yeah, I think
But
they're a
that's me.
bit too suspicious. At least with this banana bug gun.
Yeah.
I'm worried about more of the microtransactions, and that's something I need. Or the actually in, and it started with. Hey, technically it started with BL1 with free QRs, but I think that's all right. We'll allow that. But once you start getting unlimited QRs, who's who, what were they thinking? The game got ridiculous very quickly, and it wasn't. And it was with Jimmy Z. You have to. That's the guy that first perma perks. With that, you've got perma jog. What are they
Oh, I didn't
doing?
even think about how perma perks would affect the other maps.
No, I wouldn't. Zero.
Like, isn't there box luck perma perks on like buried and shit?
Yeah, but I don't think it's gonna affect BL2 because the BL2 BL1 maps because of what they're being. I think they're gonna go with the philosophy of Mob of the Dead, and
Gotcha.
because that's just how the maps were originally. I don't think they're doing it. They seem to be doing a sort of a middle ground
Yeah, so
approach.
Mark II, but not like, yeah.
But they did add the Death Machine, and Death Machine isn't even in BO2.
Yeah, sure.
That's very interesting. Why they added that? What the
Very
fuck?
BO3 like. Did you see people talking about transit alpha footage? Like
I don't
early
care.
transit stuff?
The fuck is it
Well-
gives a shit?
No, I know, but like I wonder. People have been like, Ulrich was telling me that like transit might have been changed pretty radically for like console reasons. Like the
Yes,
it might
that
have been,
that did happen.
right. Okay, I would really like to know what the original vision for transit was. Like how much of what we got was a product of like Xbox 360 sucks.
I
I never really like I've thought about this before, but I've never
Mhm.
investigated it, and I just feel like now is the time to think about stuff like that.
I just don't care because the vision that we got of Transit was better than what it could have been. 100%. And you might be thinking, what? But think about what the map was trying to be. It was trying to be this very big map where I'm playing on a whole like PUBG Fortnite map, trying to get to areas. It might have been even bigger than it is now, and that turns me off more. It might have elongated the actual setup further than it was originally. I really just don't care about
the
that
worst
vision
setup
of the
in
game.
any map. I mean, it really is one of the worst setups in any map. It's so bad.
So
You wouldn't know how to do everything.
Transit,
Yeah.
the real Transit that could have possibly existed without fog, that's very exciting for Easter egg YouTubers like Boss Root B was existing, but why would I care about Boss Root B? I like these small compact maps where fight ward ups. That's what I like. So fuck out of here with bullshit.
And that makes sense. But I was thinking in terms of like the future of Grief or like what Grief could have been, like all stuff like that, because that was
just more subsections.
Yeah, I mean there might be more Grief maps, like, I don't know, and they could have been like, the diner, whatever those fucking maps, like. So.
Yeah, we didn't even get all the maps though. That's the thing, right? Yeah, we didn't get diner, we didn't get all of that. So it's like, oh, I'm so. If the map was even bigger, would we have gotten them as subsections?
Exactly.
Yeah. Fuck that. Kind of glad that they didn't add more survival maps, but I am not glad they didn't have more Grief subsections. Just because I just don't think you need to make. I don't think you need to cut up, even more maps and be like, okay, Dairai, the top part, Dragon plus Who's Who, and the box for the initial box location as, a survival map. I just don't. That doesn't need to be a thing. Sorry, it doesn't. Okay. And you can infinitely do that, where you cut up sections at different parts.
Yeah,
so
the tunnel and like the high, the highway tunnel or whatever, like all these areas.
Yeah.
Yeah, the area outside of the power, like by. Yeah, like where you drop down into power.
Yeah, I know, power station.
That's a cool Grief area, but like, no way they would cut up that in that way. So.
Yeah, that is a cool Grief area. I like how it's split too. It makes sense for Grief because
it does.
Grief only has so much.
People doing custom games who are former Grief players, like it's not I'm just pointing out like the developers aren't thinking in those terms or seeing like that when they're making the areas, they're not seeing Grief potential in that way because they didn't like there is no Grief for them to go based off of, right? So.
Grief is, I mean, you can tell Grief is just a tacked on mode that they didn't really think that much about because
it's barely a thing. It's barely a thing. They gave no shits about it at all.
Yeah, it doesn't function properly.
It was completely accidental. Does not function properly. Like the leaderboards were occupied by boosters. Like it was not a.
Oh, there's Grief leaderboards. What the fuck?
Yeah, there was for like public match.
I can't believe that. What the fuck?
Like most wins and stuff, and people were just like loading up multiple Xboxes. Like.
No, that's
a big
really
with like different accounts and shit. It was like really sad.
I don't like that.
And there was like the purists who like were like, no, we're gonna beat these guys, even though
what?
They have more like they have like all the stuff on their side. But it was a losing battle because whenever they'd go on a streak of getting a bunch of early wins, the other people would just load up their consoles and boost to the top.
Wow.
Very sad.
That's bum.
Yeah, they didn't give a shit.
Yeah, well, just the way the game mode works just works better on Pluto with the modifications that they added to the game versus the I don't even know how the game regular Grief functions, but probably not that well. There's like Pack-a-Punch. Yeah, you have to remove all the nonsense Pack-a-Punch. It should only be wall weapons, but people hitting the box.
No, there was boxes. People were fucking spamming the boxes on Mob. That's when Mob public Grief was unplayable.
Yeah, that's so dumb. Where you just have people converge on the box. No, fuck that. It should just be
PhD Sally's fucking converging on the box.
Oh my god!
Able to die. Spamming
and then
Sally's at the feet.
J-Bud did his Grief, and then it just had a Pack-a-Punch machine. I played two different maps, and I fucked off because that was one of the worst things I've ever played. You don't put whatever the Pack-a-Punch in Grief. No. It shouldn't be a thing. PhD in Grief, no. It should just be Jug, Speed, Cola, and that's it. And then we get that. All right,
Yeah.
we're getting super distracted here. Yeah,
It's so sad. It's so sad though to think about all that we've lost.
yeah, it's pretty. It is pretty sad for, especially fast room players too.
Yeah, big loss, major
Ooh,
losses.
I haven't talked about fast room. What's the shorts I'm looking at for fast rooms?
Yeah, it's like pretty obvious for first rooms. It's just like the maps would be better. Like it'd be there's a lot of them, so it would just be better for. And then the
QR
nades
definitely.
powerful. Oh my god,
QR's
yes,
better, right? EXE was
so much better.
Yeah.
Big time. Because the
Because
nades.
of the
Yeah, big time.
oh no, I was thinking of the hordes because of the spreading that happens when you shoot the
Definitely.
zombies. QR side. Um, Beta. That's and then jug side, higher rounds.
You're getting so much farther in jug side.
But how is the map easier or what?
Yeah, like the nades do more damage, so like you basically can spam nades way earlier on. Um, you can like camp for way longer. Like there'll be less pre-nades needed. Like
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but that's one of the maps I was thinking like people might end up going back to BO1 for that those maps. But yeah, the main thing is also the popularity of first rooms. Like the theater mode shows like cool clutch escapes. Like you get to see, because everything's logged, you get to see how other players played the first room strats. There wasn't this like process of like hoping someone was recording or like using their phone to record. So those would just be more popular off the bat for sure.
Um. Huh. What else developed? Hmm. Oh, what? How do you think the four hard map? Wait, when did the four hard map things narrative even start to emerge?
Quick.
And
I mean,
like what
like pretty quick in the
is a
life
short
cycle.
term, medium?
Like I think there wouldn't be that narrative because it would like it'd still be a narrative, it'd still be a thing that eventually people would settle on the idea that there's like a few maps that are the main most interesting maps, but they would all be on BO2. So that then there wouldn't be this like idea of there's the BO1 maps and the BO2 maps. There'd be like the good first rooms, which are those same set, and then those are on BO2 basically. And like people might see it as a novelty at first to be good at the BO1 versions, like oh it's like, and it might have the inverse effect where it's like, oh, the nades are worse on this. Like it might be seen as more impressive on some level at first, right? But I think it kind of evens out. Like people would still go back and start playing first rooms on like BO1. They'd be less popular, but they still get played. Definitely when PC takes off, they become more popular. Yeah.
BO2.
I don't know how the bleedouts work though. I will say on BO2.
Yeah, neither do I.
So that's a problem for me.
Yeah, you would have to ask some mob player.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, with that's such a big thing in fast rooms. You would have to.
Yeah.
You would have to consult somebody. If, some mob at a dead player probably knows. I would think that bleed out's now on that map.
Definitely do.
I'm not sure about Bus Depot. Why don't you like Bus Depot? I don't think I understand.
For a long time, it was like just really random. Like it like the strats that emerge are basically like creating the situation for you to use your experience to get out and hoard up, right? It's like there isn't a strategy in the way there is for mob, jug, quick. Like you can feel a sense of, oh, I'm improving at the strategy on these maps. So when you fail, it's like, oh, I failed for a reason that makes sense, and I like improved. There isn't that on Bus Depot, at least for a long time. There's just a sense at which like I die randomly. I'll pick up a nuke and the zombies still kill me because the fire. Like you'll run past them and they'll like double slap you when you're deep into the game. So there's like high stakes. There's like to gain the experience is just a punishing process of constantly failing. And what you're failing at is like a non-defined strategy that you can't feel like you're improving on. If that makes sense? Like, so it's like there isn't a sense of progress. There's a sense of futility, and
Mm-hmm.
the stakes are high. So one mistake and you lose a really good game. That's why people didn't like Depot.
Mm-hmm. Is it different now?
Yeah, there's just more of a sense of like how to play it.
Right.
Like
Okay.
like back in the day when the record's like fucking 28 or something, people are, you know, play
Wait,
it
why
really
don't people
big.
play Transit?
It's considered too easy, like the permajug, like the
Oh, I didn't
windows, like
realize that was a
yeah,
thing.
yeah, the permajug, the windows, like all that stuff.
Wait, what about the Windows?
The steel boards.
Oh,
There's a perma perk for steel boards, and so the windows are easier to deal with. Like the zombies have to take more time to rip them off. On
yeah.
Depot, they can just fast rip them off, and you're like, oh fuck, oh fuck. Like this is not the case on Transit. But people did. People played a lot of Transit. It was a thing. It was kind of a way to practice Depot almost.
Well, it
'Cause it
seems
had
like it's
those.
completely died out.
Yeah, big time. Because yeah, it's not like long-term competitive or interesting.
Okay. I didn't know it was that much easier. I completely forgot about power perks and everything.
Yeah.
Round one just looked way harder with all those walkers. Zombies. Oh, you can't even
Yeah, at the
boost
beginning.
around,
Oh
can
shit.
you?
Oh shit. Isn't that so funny that they had something like that and they never did anything like that again?
Did I know?
Like,
BL3 didn't, I don't think. I don't know about
yeah, just
BL4.
starting the game with some zombies spawned in and you're like, okay, I gotta get these.
Oh,
And
the
like,
zombies spawned in. I thought you meant the round boosting. They didn't do
oh,
that
when you're
again.
jumping up and down.
No, when you can
Oh,
start on round 10.
oh yeah, yeah, no, yeah, they didn't. I don't think they really did that.
How do you think that's going
I
to
mean,
change
actually,
BL2
in
high
Shadows,
round?
you can shoot
Yeah.
that guy.
Oh, yeah, round 15, yeah.
Yeah, but like that's the only.
Mm-hmm. Do you think the round
I wonder how
starting? Wait, could you even do that on the BL1? Probably not.
No, not really.
Yeah, I don't think
I mean,
so.
patches.
No, I mean the BL1 remakes on BL2 wouldn't be able to do that.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I doubt that because they seem to have moved away from that concept. They only tried it for Transit and they just said fuck that. Because die-rise you can't do it, mob you
No,
can't.
I mean, Dara's the only thing that's different about the round one zombies is like the ones with the vests that sometimes
Oh yeah,
like it's like a multiple knife thing.
yeah. That's really interesting. What the fuck?
And what are they doing there? They're cooking something.
Yeah, that's not something that it's something that I only realize when I'm playing that map. I completely forgot that was a thing. What the fuck is that? Maybe it's like we don't even think about it because we are high round players.
Yeah, we should go past it.
But you know, maybe casuals are like, this is like a really big thing that we can probably not. This is,
No,
you don't knife
it's
enough.
just it's one bullet and then a knife thing. Like people don't really think about it, but like yeah, there definitely was some logic of like let's try to make them more varied.
Mm-hmm. How? Okay, so we did a lot. Oh yeah, no back speed on PC too. That's just
Yeah.
another thing that pushes people away
huge.
from PC. That's probably in the medium term. So we're just playing console in general at that time.
Yeah, like worst BO2 and then like Mickey Mouse BO1. Like why would anyone play on PC?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like luckily the BO3 modding scene is a thing. The World at War modding scene is a thing. Like there are things that push people to play zombies on the, but it's just that BO1 and BO2 would be so dominant on Xbox.
Mm-hmm. And BO1 just might lose its dominance in general because
Yeah, it would.
All the best players are on console, and then playing the BO1 versions of the maps, it's just seen as an inferior experience that, you might do it for novelty, but fuck that. It's sort of like Derice is, in a way, some comparable skills, right? From BO1 to World at War, at least like in the trap era, and no one gives a fuck about BO1 World at War. Sorry, BO1 World at War, World at War Derice.
Yeah.
Do you see the BL2 pre-alpha stuff? Could have been so crazy to play Jugside on BL2. Yeah, BL2 was such a disappointment to me when it released. Some old maps would have been good too. Yeah, Die-Rise and Mob made me actually kind of like the game solo. What?
And then
I don't
it
know.
ends there, basically.
Maybe some night furry Fury one day.
That's the DOA thing.
Oh, DOA. Fuck, I've
Yeah,
been
they're
thinking
talking about
about.
DOA after that. But like, yeah, like the instant reaction is like, it would have been so sick to have
Mhm.
this. Like, this would have been huge. BO2, kind of disappointment, big time disappointment. Like,
Did
so
you see
sad.
the thing that I linked above your banana pistol, where it's
Yeah, I did.
BO2 DLC 5 zombies, and you just look at the date,
That's so
10
sad.
years ago. That this is actually
They
a
were
thing that
right. They
was
had the inside info. They had the inside info.
10
I
years ago.
I literally thought these guys were clickbaiting us
Yeah,
back
good
in the
one.
day. Genuinely, because nothing came of it. I was like, why would they just make an entire DLC and then be like, nope? Like, I was like, YouTubers were just making shit up.
Oh, you think they had some insider info that
Well, I
this
mean, yeah,
actually come up?
probably. They probably had some sense of like, because I mean, it being rumored, like, where are the rumors coming from?
Oh no, I think a lot of this is bullshit. It's just my
Yeah,
guess.
probably.
I think a lot of the rumors are bullshit, and then
They had more
why
validity to them than I expected. That's what I was surprised by.
they have a lot of validity, but it's just going back to the predictability thing. I was
Right.
predicting that. Oh, when I saw multiplayer maps,
Right, the
my
resurrection.
disappointment. Yeah, and I wasn't involved in
That's true. I had an
any.
idea they were gonna make a zombies game, like a independent zombies game. I thought it was like 6
Oh
months
yeah,
ago
that
for
was
that.
something that people were also speculating on. But yes, Resurrection was such an obvious thing because it was the most sold DLC in
Yeah.
Activision. So why the fuck would they? It was like, oh, it's coming out, and I see multiplayer maps. I remember seeing this one. I think it was I think Ali may have uploaded. He did the early thing, and it was just like this sort of like vine covered dog shit. I don't even give a fuck what it was, and my heart just sank because I was like, wait. Don't tell me we got multiplayer map. Does that mean we didn't get any zombies maps?
Oh, that's
And
so
yeah,
sad.
yeah. I didn't know how sad it was. That's the thing.
Yeah, same. I didn't realize how sad it was either. It's tragic.
The fact that they were actually there, it's like, oh no, we're just sitting in a, you know,
Yeah, there's so many levels of it being already there. Like, was it planned in like the email of Treyarch? Okay, was it actually made? And like, it seems like pretty far along in the plans. Like, it doesn't seem like this was, but like, it's not like we're unearthing documents which speculated that this could be a thing. Like, we're seeing just they had it. They had it so close to being ready to ship.
yeah, way farther than art. That we might actually still the real versions of the map might still elude us. That's the thing, right? This might not even because think Origins is not fully complete yet. I don't know when DLCs get greenlit for them coming out next, but the narrative was, oh, COD Ghost, they didn't want to interrupt with the COD Ghost launch cycle, but they've already got the maps so complete before Origins is even really done properly. Makes you think, wait,
Why would you
did
turn
they?
down free money to protect COD Ghosts, a different studio?
Well, COD Ghost isn't even out yet. That's the thing,
Exactly.
right?
So
So
why would protecting them take precedence over the studio making money? I don't get it.
later on that Activision probably has a whole DLC cycle planned for COD Ghost,
Right.
so they don't want.
But in the moment,
I-
free Ghosts, like what's going on?
Yeah, pre Ghost to me it
Interrupting
doesn't
what?
make any
Interrupting
sense.
what?
Yeah,
Like,
there
no.
is nothing being interrupted, right? And so we already have a lot of the maps built just in August. It could very well be the case that you could get a September release of these maps. And these maps may be further along on different builds of the game because we only got this build now, being unearthed. There could be more to unearth here that we might have. We might just have full versions of the map. Just full versions of the map sitting there. Someone has it, and
Depressing.
yeah, that must be even more depressing. That sort of gets me excited because I've already gone through. Like, oh, okay, well, this is the alternate timeline that we missed
You're already
out on.
past the grief
Yeah,
of it,
well, yeah.
the loss. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm more thinking, okay, we need to get these ported immediately. This
We do
is
get
something
these
that
ported.
needs to happen, and so we get some of the, lost. Yeah, we're never gonna ever touch on whatever the fuck we're building right now in my document, but
Like, I'll just say it. I don't know what Lex did. I don't even know what he's accused of doing. I'll forgive him if he helps us port these like big time forgiving Lex. If Lex can be a central figure in getting these ported to
Wait, why
PvP.
would Lex be?
I don't know. I'm just saying this is an opportunity for him to redeem himself. Like,
Okay.
I don't
Does
know
he
what he
even have-
did or what he's redeeming, but
Yeah.
this would be cool. Like, it'll probably take a little bit of money and time to do it. So like, let's get some
Mhm.
people on it. Like, fuck remaking the shit in BO3. That's the problem in the first place.
Oh yeah,
right?
what the fuck? And the fact that BO3 got mod tools as well.
Oh my God.
What the fuck? Seeing custom maps that are really people put a lot of time into, and it's just
Yeah.
no one's playing a high round on this in any sort of seriousness. I mean,
Right.
they have, but it was
Wrong
one of
tools,
those.
wrong thing to do.
It was one of those things where people are doing, just AATs, and it's because AATs are a meme for any sort of, like cool strat making. It's just sort of like, okay, it's faster spawns, and then we're just shooting war weapons at the zombies, and training. And some of those spots can be, difficult to train in, but it's a custom map. You're not doing these these optimal whatever. But on BL1 and World at War, we actually had people. I think Just Crusader was a World at War custom map high rounder. And we had a little bit of Winter Wonderland people playing that for high rounds. I think it started with me and Bagsy in World at War, where the fact that Wonder had a map just was just, okay, I need to play the fuck out of this.
Yeah.
And me and Bagsy, oh no, it was me that found this way to jump out the window, and I remember showing Bagsy, and we were just sitting out on the map for the longest time. Yes, world record. And then we found faster strats because we just played it so much. We found, like sitting on the little balcony. Was the thing.
Yeah.
I
And, remember that.
And then I was thinking, wait, you need to come back and fix some of this because some of this is actually really whack, but it could make for a really good map. So please get fixing. And then Demons got on the map too, and I think he also started deving it up with 5 and 5 and all the others. Really cool era of zombies. And BO1 just a better game, so that being on BO1 is truly the best. But just think about this: BO1 mod tools. Where did they come from?
Yeah.
Did they come from our community? I think they come outside of our community. I'm pretty sure they came out.
Made the linker mod, whatever it was called. I remember that the linker thing you had to download to get Reimagined working.
I don't think it was people from our community. I think it was people outside of our community that did the mod tools, because I remember following the people that were doing it with the first map that came out. I was following that for a while, and so I think that still becomes a thing in this timeline.
Definitely.
Wait, so what else have we missed in terms of the things that what have I not talked about here? Have I talked about title hordes and how that changes strats?
I mean, not really, but would that okay, what maps could that work on? Like Dat Strat, 5 maybe,
Correct.
yeah, Verruct 5. I guess Kino Force Outs would be easier.
Oh yeah, that's true. Actually, no. I don't know if they would be.
I don't know if they would be. I'm kind of just throwing stuff out there. I don't know how going under the trap. I mean, whenever the guy went under the trap in Chino, he just died instantly.
Yeah.
In the video. So I don't know.
Yeah, that is a big thing.
That's up in the air.
Because is it going to be like BL3 where you actually have to crawl under, and is it going to be a double-sided trap? That's why I say Shino is the biggest.
It's the biggest open question.
Yeah,
for sure.
Spawns, everything. That is a completely different map. So wait, actually I should say Shino, completely different map. Spawn zones. Zones are not the same in the report. Spawn zones have been different across the oh, what the fuck is this? How do I go to this insert? No. yeah, double-sided trap. Is that's not a thing on BO3?
No,
Double-sided
or I don't actually. Maybe, I don't know.
trap is not a thing. What? Trap might not be a thing. Was not so in BO3. Hold on, let me go take a piss, BOB.
That's funny.
I'm back.
Yo, I have to go to a Christmas party in like 40 minutes, so
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna take a shower, get ready. Can you send me this document as like a file, and then
Yeah,
I'll
sure.
like we'll think about it. We'll talk another time. I'll have more thoughts then, because I'm kind
Mm-hmm.
of just reacting to what you're showing me.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, awesome. I'm
Okay.
excited. This is fun. All right.
Yeah, write some stuff in there and then, you know. Okay.